online and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Yeah, it's stupid, a little disappointing, but again, from that photo, good God. I mean, who hasn't done stupid stuff in their past?
We begin tonight with sexual assault allegations that are now hitting closer to home for our area. A radio news anchor in Los Angeles is accusing Minnesota Senator Al Franken of forcibly kissing and groping her a decade ago. Leanne Tweeden says she met Franken in 2006 before he was elected to the Senate while they were entertaining U.S. troops overseas. One of the skits to be performed featured a kiss between Tweeden and Franken. In a detailed post on her station's website, Tweeden writes that Franken insisted on rehearsing the scene backstage and says that when Franken forcibly kissed her, she also writes that Al Franken groped her without her consent while she was sleeping in the cargo plane returning to the U.S. She later found a photograph of that incident after she left the USO show. Franken released a statement apologizing for his actions and then in a longer second statement said there was no excuse for the photograph. Valley News Team's Christine Stanwood took to the streets in Moorhead to ask if you would vote for Senator Al Franken after seeing the photo of the alleged groping. Christine?
Andrea, I stopped by Minnesota State University Moorhead to ask those on campus if they had heard or seen of the allegations. The picture of the alleged assault is raising a lot of questions. Here's what they had to say.
You heard what happened today?
Yeah, I heard he had some allegations.
Have you heard what happened?
No.
Have you seen the picture?
Yes.
What's your initial reaction after seeing this?
I mean, that's pretty disgusting.
I have no comment.
I was a politician. That's not right.
Who cares?
But I don't actually know who Al Franken is.
It's not so black and white as people want it to be.
He's a state senator from Minnesota. Would you vote for him?
No.
If you were to vote here?
I wouldn't vote for him.
It was a stupid thing to do, but again, I think we have to be able to distinguish between some of these. We can't lump them all together.
Obviously, that's inappropriate, especially for somebody that's in leadership.
We're actually drawing attention away from the instances that really, the problems that really need to be addressed, the true instances of harassment and assault.
This morning, Senator Mitch McConnell called for an ethics review of the allegations against Franken. Andrea?
All right, thank you, Christine. If you want to read Senator Al Franken's statement in full, head to our website and click on this story at valleynewslive.com. Another windy day, but it's been pretty quiet. However, things look like they're changing overnight. Hutch, what's the latest on tonight?
Well, we are looking at gusty winds still upwards of 40 miles per hour here in the FM area. Now, it's been a south wind. Boy, it just didn't feel very warm, even though temperatures did have a chance to make their way up into the 30s here in the Southern Valley. So gusty winds, and take a look at this. If you know anybody in Rapid City, maybe you could ask them to send you a suitcase full of that air. 71 there, 27 in Bemidji. As we take a look at the satellite and radar, we do have some snow falling in our easternmost counties, but other than that, a lot of cloud cover. So expect the clouds to continue. But temperatures, look at this. That's pretty easy. 34 at 7, 34 at 8. You get the picture. Steady with gusty winds continuing into the evening hours. Overnight, there could be some icy roads developing for some. I'll have the latest in your hour-by-hour forecast on that here in a few moments.
All right. Thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
We're following a developing story out of South Dakota tonight. Crews are working to clean up a pipeline leak that has spilled at least 210,000 gallons of oil. The leak was in the Keystone Pipeline located in an agriculture area in Marshall County. And officials say this is the largest Keystone spill ever in the state. Brian Walsh with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources tells KSFY News they were alerted to the leak at 10:30 this morning by TransCanada. There have been no reports of the oil entering any waterways or water systems at this time. The pipeline has been shut off and the leak has been covered, but officials say cleaning up the oil may take some time. As open enrollment season rolls on, scammers look for the opportunity to trick those eligible for Medicare into paying for something else. Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz has the story.
It seems simple enough. Just go to healthcare.gov to sign up for Medicare. Don't accept phone calls, but Heather Johnson of the Better Business Bureau explains it's tempting when someone calls you and offers to do all the work.
Medicare is confusing. There are lots of bits and parts and moving pieces, and if you don't know it really well, it's easy to be taken advantage of.
The Federal Trade Commission warns during open enrollment season, scammers will try to sell you a Medicare plan. Some just take your money. And some are other health care plans under the guise of Medicare.
It's another group trying to sell their health insurance. They're going to call it something very similar, so it's going to sound right to you.
Besides the fact that they shouldn't be calling you, they also shouldn't sell you Medicare. Counselors at the Village Family Service Center urge you not to give them your information.
Anything like Social Security numbers or bank account information or security question type information, that should be a red flag.
Another red flag, scammers will tell you that you must sign up for Part D, which covers prescriptions when it's not mandatory.
Part D is a buzzword when you're dealing with those types of things. They know that, and so they're going to find those buzzwords and use them to make themselves sound legitimate.
Counselors also say most of these calls come on a landline.
If you think about it, if none of the young people have the landlines to begin with, you've basically done half of the headhunting for them, because by default that's who has a landline.
And I have a landline.
What if it actually is Medicare calling you?
They wouldn't be.
Dwight Schroeder would know. He never got any calls, but says when he was about to turn 65, his mailbox filled up. Instead of taking the chance, he contacted his Social Security.
Medicare has to be signed up through Social Security.
As in Schroeder's case, they might have to call you back. But that's the only call you should accept regarding Medicare. In Fargo, Rose Itzkowitz, Valley News Live.
If you think you've fallen victim to a healthcare scam, you can report it to the Better Business Bureau or Federal Trade Commission. The Grand Forks Police Department is asking for some help after they had to call in the bomb squad at Sam's Club. Officers say a suspicious case was left outside the Sam's Club liquor store near 32nd Avenue South and Columbia Road yesterday morning. The incident forced the evacuation of parts of the store. Investigators later determined the case was empty and not a threat. Anybody with information on the case or know who may have left it is asked to call the Grand Forks Police Department at 787-8000. A Republican plan to make the most dramatic changes to the tax code in more than 3 decades has cleared its first big hurdle. The House put the bill to a vote today, while the Senate still has some work to do on its own version. Mola Lenghi reports from Capitol Hill.
House Republicans celebrated passage of their tax overhaul plan. The measure slashes the corporate tax rate, simplifies the tax code, and doubles the standard deduction.
We basically say, keep your money in the first place. It's your money. Do what you want with it.
Every Democrat voted no.
This tax scam won't create jobs. It won't raise wages. It will only fill the coffers of the donors and the fat cats.
A handful of Republicans opposed to erasing deductions for state and local taxes also voted no.
You're taking more money from a place like New York in order to pay for deeper tax cuts elsewhere.
President Trump, who wants a tax reform bill on his desk by the end of the year, made a trip to Capitol Hill to rally the troops ahead of the vote.
Tax is going really well. Thank you very much. It was really him thanking us in advance because he knows we're going to get this done.
But getting a tax bill passed in the Senate is starting to look like a bigger challenge. Republicans there can only afford to lose 2 votes.
I wouldn't vote for this Senate version. Bottom line.
Other Republicans have not yet said how they'll vote, and Democrats see it as a bad deal for the middle class.
No matter how you cut this bill is about trickle-down economics.
The Senate Finance Committee debated its version of the plan for a 4th day. It includes a repeal of Obamacare's individual mandate, which requires Americans to have health insurance or pay a penalty. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
If the Senate gets its bill passed, then lawmakers from both sides of Capitol Hill will meet in a conference committee to work out the differences between the House and Senate bills. Remember to like Valley News Live on Facebook. You can follow the latest news, weather, and breaking news updates anytime on your feed. Just search Valley News Live, like our page, and you'll stay informed throughout the entire day. Many Americans